As protests continue across Iran, CNN has learned that authorities are using technology to gain access to protesters' cell phones and social media accounts. The government is then using this information as evidence to suppress, arrest, and in many cases, prosecute them. For more, let's bring in CNN's Katie Paul-Glaze, who was part of this exclusive investigation. She joins us now live from London. So good to see you, Katie. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, thank you for having me, Layla. Well, I think what we've learnt with this investigation is that there are a variety of ways in which the Iranian government may be accessing people's social media accounts. And what we can learn is that it's not only people's phones, it's also encrypted platforms such as Telegram, which is widely used among activists in Iran, and it's making some of the activists feel worried about their safety on these platforms. This is not just phone records, it's also private chats. In some cases, even the location of their phone on certain streets on certain times. Now, there's still a lot of unanswered questions. There may still be some old methods that they're using, such as confiscating devices, forcing people to hand over their phone. But what is clear from this investigation is that it is happening, and that there is evidence that activists do not think that their devices, that their chats are still private. And when they are hacked and when they are accessed by the Iranian government, what we found is that the repercussions can be incredibly severe. Have a listen to what we found. Moody, reflective. Like many teenagers, Nika Shakarami considered her Instagram page a safe space for self-expression. But her death on September 20th during protests in Iran turned her into an icon, and her Instagram page into a blank slate. Who disabled it and why became yet another mystery surrounding what happened to her. CNN previously revealed evidence suggesting Nika was detained at the protests shortly after this video was filmed, but the Iranian authorities have always denied any involvement in her disappearance or death. Now CNN can exclusively reveal that Meta, Instagram's parent company, investigated Nika's account after she disappeared, concluding they themselves were not involved in disabling it. In other words, it was either Nika herself or, crucially, someone with access to her account that took it down. And as recent reporting by The Intercept revealed Iran's highly sophisticated system for phone hacking, it raises the question of whether social media platforms can keep accounts secure. When protests erupted in Iran, Nika began using Instagram as a diary for her activism. But this online activity may have ended up working against her. After Nika's death, the Iranian state began publishing evidence like this CCTV footage, attempting to clear the state of any involvement in her death. First, they said she was pushed from this building, then she fell from it. Next, they referenced suicidal messages in documents extracted from Nika's mobile and Instagram conversations. It was an open acknowledgement they were accessing her phone and her social media accounts. But she's not alone. As flames engulfed the notorious Evin prison in mid-October, inside was Negin. She was accused of sharing activist posters like these on Telegram, the encrypted social media platform. We've changed her name for her safety. Her words are read by an actor.
I think they already had my Telegram chats, because they often talked about it. There were certain photos. I had shared relatively political photos. They would show me the photos from that Telegram to claim I was the admin, but I kept denying it.
She says the Iranian authorities had obtained these chats despite not yet having Negin's phone. She believes they hacked her account, and she now faces 6 years in jail. While in prison, the Iranian authorities reactivated Negin's Telegram account. She says it was to see who tried to contact her and reveal the network of activists she was in touch with. And the same tactic may have been used with Nika's Telegram account. As weeks after her death, 2 of her friends noticed her account was back online. It disappeared shortly after. Nika's family are still reeling from her death. One close family member told CNN authorities are still refusing to return her phone. The Iranian authorities have not responded to CNN's request for comment, while Meta said they couldn't share specifics on Nika's account, but they confirmed they did not originally disable it. Telegram told CNN in every case they had investigated, the device had been confiscated or the user had unwittingly made such access possible by not setting a 2-step verification password or using a malicious app impersonating Telegram. Still, questions remain as to whether Meta, Telegram and other tech companies are doing all they can to protect their users, as the world wakes up to the increasingly tech-savvy ways regimes such as Iran are using to monitor and hunt down activists.
Now, it's worth noting that Instagram and Telegram are hugely popular in Iran. Before Instagram was banned in the recent protests, 90% of Iranians used Instagram. That's of a population of about 86 million. This is a huge number of people that use these platforms every day for everyday communication, for sharing thoughts, ideas with each other and friends. But it's also increasingly being used for activism, for connecting activists to each other, for connecting where protests are going to be, at what time and what day. And so if there is any indication that these platforms may be being accessed by the Iranian government, may no longer be secure, that is, of course, incredibly concerning. And now the question is from this investigation is whether the tech companies are well equipped to deal with these challenges.
Important questions you raised there, Katie. Katie Paul Glaze reporting. Thank you so much.